Unexpected heroine. Cleaner's daughter saves millionaire with life-changing call revealed. The sun hung low over the bustling urban neighborhood, spilling golden light onto the rich tapestry of streets. Mia, a 17-year-old with determination etched into her features, could smell the hot, spicy aroma of street food wafting through the air. Laughter, shouts, and quiet struggles blended together, creating a poignant symphony of resilience and hope. Yet, there was another sound gnawing at her heart, an echo of her family's financial struggles, a reality they faced month after month. As the daughter of a dedicated janitor, Mia had seen hard work, integrity, and sacrifice fill her home, but those virtues often felt like weights pulling against her dreams that on one particularly chaotic afternoon, she snuck a moment of reprieve at the community center sanctuary that had become a second home. It was a cozy, tight-knit space filled with familiar faces who shared in each other's joys and burdens. But as she cleaned up the small office, her heart raced with the weight of expectations. Just then, her phone buzzed with an unknown number. Curiosity got the best of her. She answered, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. "Mia? Please, The voice on the other end crackled with desperation. A man named Carter who urgently needed help. His words spilled out like a dam bursting, revealing that he was in a medical emergency. In that moment, without a second thought, she chose to help him. A storm of doubt raged inside her. What could a mere cleaner's daughter do for a wealthy millionaire? Yet, her instinct shouted louder than her insecurities. As she spoke with Carter, Mia was thrust into a world that felt light years away from her own. He described the luxurious life he lived, with marble countertops and sparkling pools that felt more like a dream than reality. The disparity stung. She was acutely aware of her humble background, the laughter of her neighbors suddenly turning into whispers and judgment. What would they think of her now? Would they see her as a sellout? Anxiety clawed at her gut, but the determination to help someone in need kept her steady. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As chaos enveloped her life, Mia's friends rallied around her. They cheered her on, buoying her spirits. But still, whispers swirled. What was she doing, befriending a millionaire? Carter's elite circle scoffed at her presence, and shadows of doubt shadowed her heart. Was she just a maid from the wrong side of town, desperately clinging onto a fantasy? Just when Mia thought she was losing herself, a surprising revelation came to light. Carter had been observing her humility, her resilience. He admired her integrity from afar. Suddenly, their worlds began to collide, breaking down the barriers between classes. Mia prepared for the final call that could change everything and bridge their vastly different worlds. Fear coursed through her veins. Would she rise to the occasion? Could she rally her community behind her? The stakes couldn't be higher, and just outside the walls of the community center, the rhythm of life continued, filled with both chaos and the wild, hopeful belief that change was possible. Mia took a deep breath, her heart racing as she dialed Carter's number again. The day's weariness hung over her like a heavy cloak, but she couldn't afford to hesitate. She felt the weight of her friend's belief, the community center's warmth encasing her in a safety net that reminded her she wasn't alone. "Hey, Mia." Carter's voice crackled through the phone, a lifeline tossed into the storm that swirled around them both. "I'm glad you called back. I need to share what happened. It's intense." Mia swallowed hard. Intense seemed like an understatement. "I'm here for you. What do you need? I think someone has been after me, and it's escalated. I need to find a safe place to get my thoughts together. Can you help me?" In that moment, Mia remembered the faces of her friends, their laughter echoing in her mind, filling her with courage. She could be more than just a cleaner-ass daughter. She could be someone who made a difference. Of course, Carter. Just tell me where you are. Near the East Side Marina. There's a small boat launch. Can you meet me there? Hang on, she thought, her heart pounding. This was a huge step into a world she barely understood but somehow felt drawn to. I'll be there. Just hang tight. I'll figure out a way to before she could finish. He hung up. Now, she faced a decision. The vulnerability of stepping into Carter's world loomed. What if she didn't belong? The whispers in her neighborhood would only grow louder. But there was no turning back now. Mia slipped on her jacket, gripping the fabric tightly, and stepped out into the crisp evening. The streets were more alive than ever as twilight turned day into night. She passed by vendors packing away their wares, families laughing over dinner, the ambient hum of life feeling magical and chaotic all at once. When she reached the marina, the salty tang of the sea filled her lungs, grounding her in that moment. The deep blue waters appeared endless under the canopy of stars, but a sudden flicker of doubt ignited inside her. This space didn't belong to her. It was a kingdom of wealth and leisure, far removed from her world. Mia? A voice cut through her thoughts, sharp yet comforting. Carter approached, his features etched with worry, his usually polished demeanor crumbling in the shadows. You came. Of course, she replied, forcing a smile. She noticed how disheveled he looked, his suit wrinkled, hair tousled. What's really going on? He took a breath, as if weighing his words carefully. I've been threatened. People are watching me. I can't stay where I am. And honestly, I don't know who to trust anymore. The empathy welled at her chest. What can I do? Mia, he hesitated, a storm brewing in his eyes. I need you to help me get out of here, and then I need a plan. But I can't do it alone. Mia's mind raced. She had her community, friends whose loyalty and warmth filled her with strength. But this wasn't just about comfort anymore. He was asking her to step into a life filled with danger and uncertainty, one that could ultimately change their futures. As she stood there, looking into his earnest gaze, her heart swelled with commitment. Then let us make a plan. We'll figure this out together. But as they turned to leave, a shadow darted at the edge of her vision, and her pulse quickened. Was someone watching them? Did she just step into something even more dangerous? Carter, I think. Before she could finish her sentence, a loud crash echoed across the marina, shattering the tranquility of the night. What had they stumbled into? Would Mia's instincts lead them to safety or deeper trouble? The answers loomed just out of reach. The crash reverberated against the still waters, a jarring reminder of the danger lurking in the shadows. Mia's heart thundered in her chest as she instinctively stepped closer to Carter, her body tense and ready to react. What was that? She whispered, glancing around, the darkness suddenly feeling thicker. I don't know, Carter replied, his voice steady but laced with tension. But we need to move. Now. He grabbed her hand, and together they dashed down the narrow path that led away from the tumultuous scene. Mia felt the cool wind whipping through her hair, her thoughts racing alongside them. Carter's hand was warm and steady around hers, offering an odd sense of security despite the chaos. Where are we going? She asked, her mind spinning. Just keep moving until we're out of sight. There's a cafe a few blocks away. We can talk there, he said, pulling her toward the street. As they rounded the corner, the distant glow of streetlights illuminated their path. Mia's heart still raced, but adrenaline pumped through her veins, urging her onward. The world felt surreal, like stepping into a dream that was both thrilling and terrifying. Can you tell me more? She pressed, needing answers. Who's after you? He hesitated, searching her eyes for a moment, as if weighing how much to reveal. I'm being followed by people who want to intimidate me into backing out a business deal. They want to stop until they get what they want. Why not go to the police? Her voice held a raspy edge of concern. I can't, he said, his voice cracking. My family has connections. They'd twist it, make it worse. I don't know who to trust, Mia. You're my only hope. The weight of his words sank into her. How had they ended up in this tumultuous net of lies and danger? She was just a girl from the community center, A cleaner's daughter, not someone meant for this world. As they reached the cafe, Mia allowed herself a brief moment to catch her breath. She pushed open the door, the soft chime sounding like music against the backdrop of tension. The warmth enveloped them, a stark contrast to the chill outside. Carter led them to a booth at the back. He slid in across from her, running a hand through his hair, looking more vulnerable than she had ever seen him. She couldn't shake the thought that this was the tipping point of their lives. They were teetering on the edge of something monumental. "Okay," he said, his voice growing steadier. "First, we need to come up with a plan. I can't let them push me around any longer. You shouldn't have to be involved in this," but he trailed off, emotion thick in the air. "But I'm here now." It was a pledge, a promise she didn't take lightly. "Whatever this is, we'll face it together." Just then, the cafe door swung open, and a familiar figure stepped inside, a frown etched across his face. Mia's stomach dropped. "Carter," she warned, barely above a whisper. His eyes followed hers, and the color drained from his face. "No, what are they doing here?" Mia could barely breathe, the soft murmur of patrons suddenly drowning in a deafening silence as their eyes locked onto the newcomers. "Carter, we need to hide. Now." They both shifted under the table, just as the figure surveyed the room. Searching, thudding footsteps approached. How could they possibly escape this? The intensity of the moment felt all-consuming. Would they be caught in the chaos, or could Mia's resolve lead them to a daring escape? As the figure's chilling gaze swept across the room, Mia clutched Carter's hand again, the reality of their predicament sinking deeper. What if this was just the beginning of a fight they weren't ready for? "Do you trust me?" Carter breathed out, urgency lacing every word. Without hesitation, she replied, "More than anyone." And in that fleeting moment of connection, with the unknown stalking them just beyond the shadowy edges of the cafe, Mia felt something shift inside her. Would she prove to be the unexpected heroine, or would fear bind them in chains too heavy to break? Just when the air crackled with tension, the door swung open again, and a voice blasted through the cafe, almost drowning out the rumors it stirred. "Mia, Carter, we need to go now." Who was this new ally? Could they finally escape the looming threat, or were they walking straight into a trap? Mia's heart skipped a beat as she recognized the voice. It was Nick, her boss from the community center. His wide-eyed urgency clashed with the casual way he usually carried himself. "What are you doing here?" she whispered, almost forgetting the danger lurking just outside their hiding place. "Listen," he said, scanning the cafe with darting eyes. "We don't have time to explain. I saw them coming. You need to trust me. I have a way out." Carter's grip tightened on Mia's hand as they exchanged glances, both feeling the weight of choices pressing down on them. It was chaotic outside the serene cafe walls, but in this moment, they had to make decisions without the luxury of time. As Nick edged closer to their booth, his voice dropped to a near whisper. "There's an alley behind the cafe that leads to a parking lot. I can get you both out of here. But we have to move now." Mia's mind spun with uncertainties. Could she trust him? What if this was all part of a bigger plot? But looking into Carter's eyes, she saw fear and determination. She knew they needed to escape, and Nick's arrival could be their lifeline. "Okay," she said, pulling Carter up with her. "Lead the way." They slipped out from under the table, and as they stood up, the cafe felt like an unstable raft amidst looming waves. Nick ushered them toward the back door, glancing around cautiously as they moved. Mia felt a rush of adrenaline, every instinct screaming at her to be cautious. Still, she followed Nick, her heart battling between panic and hope. As they reached the door, a sudden crash shattered the air, and the cafe trembled around them. Mia flinched, her breath hitching in her throat. Just outside the door, a man shouted, punctuating the tense atmosphere with a threat laced in menace. "They're in there. Get them." Mia's heart dropped. Time had run out. "Go. Now," Nick urged, shoving the door open and darting out into the alley. They followed him, the cold night air slapping them awake. They dashed down the narrow path, hearing footsteps pounding after them. The city was alive with the sounds of distant cars and the bustling nightlife, but all Mia could hear were her own heartbeat and the rushing air. Over here, Nick pointed toward a battered sedan parked awkwardly at the end of the alley. Dirt and grime covered the windows, but it was their only chance. Mia jumped into the back seat, with Carter following. Nick glanced nervously up the alleyway, checking for pursuers before sliding into the driver's seat. The engine sputtered to life, and Mia felt a surge of grim determination. "Drive," Carter demanded, his voice steady despite the chaos. Nick floored the gas pedal, and they shot out of the alley, narrowly avoiding a group of shadowy figures that surged into view. Mia turned around, feeling a mix of relief and fear. They had escaped the cafe, but at what cost? As they drove through the city streets, a question nagged at her. "Who are you working for, Nick? How did you know we were in trouble?" He met her gaze in the rearview mirror, hesitating. "It's a long story, but you have to know there's more at stake than just Carter. It's bigger than anything you can imagine." Mia felt the air thicken with uncertainty. What had she stumbled into? What was the real truth behind Carter's troubles? And why did Nick seem to know so much? Just then, her phone buzzed violently in her pocket, breaking through the tension. She pulled it out, heart racing as she saw an unknown number flashing on the screen. "Answer it," Carter urged, desperation creeping into his voice. But what she didn't expect was a voice that sounded eerily familiar. "Mia, it's me. We need to talk urgently. Things are about to get much worse." Her pulse quickened. Who was on the other end? What more did they want from her? The night was no longer just a canvas of chaos. It was tangled with secrets that threatened to unravel completely. Would she sink or swim? Would she become that unexpected heroine she never dreamed of being? With the unknown looming just ahead, she was reminded that sometimes the real battle is just beginning. Mia's grip on her phone tightened as her heart raced. The familiarity of the voice sent shivers down her spine. It was a voice she hadn't heard in years, one that was etched in her memory in a mixture of warmth and unease. "Who is this?" She managed to choke out, try to keep her voice steady. "Please, just listen," the voice implored. "I can help you, but you have to trust me. What is happening right now is just the beginning, and they'll stop at nothing to find you." Mia's mind reeled. Each word felt heavy, pressing down on her like the weight of the world. Behind her, she could feel Carter's anxious energy, the tension weaving a bond between them as Nick navigated the streets with sharp precision. "Who is they?" Mia demanded, her heart fluttering with equal parts fear and anger. "What do you want from me? Things are more complicated than you know. There are people looking for Carter, yes, but they are after you too. I can explain everything, but first, you need to get somewhere safe." "Safe?" Mia's voice wavered. "What do you mean? Just trust me. I need you to." The line went dead. The sudden silence felt like a slap. Mia stared at her phone in disbelief, a sense of dread creeping in. She glanced at Nick, who was focused on the road, keeping his eyes peeled for any sign of trouble. "Who was that?" he asked, his voice tight with concern. "It was an old acquaintance," she managed to reply, deciding against revealing everything just yet. "They say I'm in danger, but I don't understand where this is all coming from." "An acquaintance, huh?" Nick raised an eyebrow, resisting the urge to press further. "Whatever is going on, we need to get you two out of the city. Getting caught here would be the worst possible thing. We can't let them lay eyes on you." Carter scooted closer to Mia, his face pale in the dim light filtering through the car windows. "What do they say? Are we really in danger?" "They said it's bigger than us. They're looking for you." "Two?" Mia whispered, her heart racing again. "Great," Carter muttered, running a hand through his hair. "If this is true, we can't just hide. We need a plan." Nick took a sharp turn, displaying a heightened awareness that set her on edge. "We don't have time to make a plan. We need to find a safe spot to regroup and figure this out. I know a place an old colleague's house. It's out of the way." The word house settled over Mia like a blanket, bringing with it both comfort and trepidation. It had been too long since she had felt safe at home, and the memories enveloped her in a blend of nostalgia and fear as they sped through the desolate streets. Mia's mind raced with images of her past. She thought about the sacrifices her mother had made, the nights spent worrying whether they would have enough money for dinner. How had her life spiraled into this chaos? When we get to this place, we need to come clean with each other, Mia said after a moment's hesitation. No more secrets. This is too serious. I agree, Carter nodded, glancing over his shoulder as if the shadows could whisper secrets of their own. But can we trust Nick? Right now, he has the best shot we have of staying alive, Mia replied, her voice trembling slightly as she realized the truth in her words. Though uncertainty wrapped its tendrils around her heart, a flicker of determination ignited within her. No matter the risks, she was willing to face them head-on. As they pulled onto a darkened road, the looming shadows seemed almost welcoming. With the night still pregnant with danger, Mia could feel the world closing in. But there was no turning back now. Just then, her phone buzzed again, and her heart raced once more as she looked down to see another unfamiliar number flash across the screen. Who else was reaching out now? What more could they possibly want from her? She shared a look with Carter and Nick, her heart thumping wildly. Would this be another life-altering moment, or would it plunge them deeper into the chaos? Here we go, she whispered, pressing the answer button. Mia held her breath, the silence in the car palpable as she answered the call. Hello, is this Mia? The voice on the other end was just as urgent, but lacked the familiar tremor of the previous call. Yes, who asked this? I'm with the team, trying to protect you. You're in immediate danger. You have to listen carefully. Every word sent a chill down her spine. What do you mean? From who? There are people after you and Carter because of a mistake made months ago, a mix-up that's blown up. We're tracking them, but time is running out. You have to get to the old mill at the edge of town. The old mill. Mia's stomach churned. It had been abandoned for years, a haunting shell of a once bustling hub. Why there? Safe houses are already compromised. You'll have more chances of avoiding detection if you avoid the usual spots. Trust me on this. Trust you? She replied, incredulous. For the sake of her brother, she held back her disbelief. What do we do once we get there? Once you're in, we'll send someone to extract you. Just get there. Don't waste time. The line went dead again. Mia stared at the phone, her heart pounding in her chest. Everything felt like it was spinning out of control. What did they say? Nick demanded, the tension clear in his voice. Another warning, we need to get to the old mill. It's our best shot, she said, not sure she believed it herself. Are you nuts? Carter exclaimed. That place is a death trap. We don't have any choices left. Mia snapped, anger and fear blending into a scream. We need to listen. We can't sit here while they close in on us. Nick nodded, frustration flashing across his face before he accelerated, the tires screeching as they whipped around a corner. The police station whizzed by, dark and silent like a ghost town. Keep your eyes peeled, he said, glancing into the rearview mirror. Okay, Mia, tell me exactly what is going on. There was a mistake, something with Carter. They said they were after both of us. Great, Carter muttered again, leaning back into his seat, his features strained. Mia gripped Carter's hand tightly, drawing strength from the familiar warmth. We'll get through this. Together. They drove in anxious silence, all too aware of what lurked in the shadows. As the mill came into sight, her stomach twisted. It loomed over them, an ominous figure against the already darkened sky. Nick slowed the car and parked at a distance. We go on foot from here. Stay close and be quiet. Together, they crept toward the dilapidated structure, the wind howling through the broken windows like lost souls. Each step echoed, the sound ricocheting against her nerves. As they reached the entrance, Mia felt an all-too-familiar pang of uncertainty grip her heart. What if this is a trap? It feels like one, Carter whispered, but we need to find out what we're up against. Mia took a deep breath, determination hardening in her chest. Then let us find out. Pushing through the heavy door, darkness enveloped them. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of decay, every shadow playing tricks on their minds. Mia found herself relying on her little brother's presence. He was her anchor, something solid amidst the chaos. The moment they stepped inside, an unexpected noise made them freeze. Who's there? A voice called out from the shadows. Mia felt her heart leap in her throat. She strained her eyes, desperate to catch a glimpse of the figure emerging from the darkness. Who was waiting for them now? Would it be friend or foe? Mia, the voice sounded familiar, pulling at something deep inside. If we could really be? Her heart hammered as she took a cautious step forward, hope battling the fear within her. Who? She whispered, barely able to breathe. The shadows revealed a figure she hadn't expected, one that could change everything. Mia felt the weight of the world shift. What now? Mia. The name escaped from the shadows with a warmth that fought against the chill in the air. Her heart raced as a figure emerged. It was Sam, her childhood friend, the boy she had lost touch with after everything had fallen apart for her family. What are you doing here? Mia gasped, disbelief clashing with relief. I was sent to, he hesitated, scanning the room. They told me to keep an eye on you. Sent by who? She pressed, turning her head to see if anyone else was lurking in the darkness. An organization that has been tracking the people after you. They know you're here, he said urgently, stepping closer. We need to act fast. Carter stepped in front of Mia, his voice low but firm. How do we know we can trust you? Because ID never hurt you. We grew up together, for God's sake. Sam's eyes flickered with sincerity. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to help. Mia felt a strange comfort in seeing him again, the boy who once made her laugh through her mother's long shifts and late-night cleaning jobs. But uncertainty still gnawed at her. What's the plan? There's a hidden exit in the back, Sam said, his voice becoming steady, filled with purpose. I'll take you through the tunnels that lead away from here. It has to be safe, at least for a moment. Voices echoed outside, and fear rippled through Mia. They're close, she whispered. We don't have much time. Then we go now, Sam urged, beckoning them to follow. As they navigated through the dust-heavy air, Mia felt a mix of dread and hope. Sam led them through a narrow passageway, illuminated only by the faint glimmer of moonlight seeping through cracks in the wall. Each step took them further from danger, but deeper into uncertainty. Mia's heart pounded as adrenaline rushed through her veins. Why did you come back, Sam? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. I couldn't just leave you, any of you, he replied, glancing back at the siblings. After everything, I've wanted to help you for so long. Mia's burdens felt lighter with every step they took. Yet so many questions lingered. What had really happened? What mistake was the voice on the phone talking about? She could sense the panic inside Carter, mirroring her own thoughts. No answers, but an endless maze ahead. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted from the entrance they came through. The door had been kicked in, and heavy footsteps echoed through the mill. They were here. Run, Sam urged, shoving open a door at the end of the tunnel. Darkness loomed on the other side, and without thinking twice, they moved as one into the unknown. Mia felt the cold sweep over her, but she pushed through, the adrenaline kicking in. They stumbled into an expansive underground corridor lined with old machinery, a forgotten labyrinth beneath the mill. As they sprinted, Sam turned to Mia, determination etched on his face. There's an exit on the other end. No one should be able to follow us if we can make it. Mia nodded, trust in the boy she once knew starting to build again. But her mind spun with fear for her brother's safety and the looming threat behind them. Then came a gut-wrenching realization. What if we're leading them right to us? She shot back, her heart sinking with anxiety. Then we'll have to fight, Sam replied, steel in his voice. We'll do whatever it takes to protect each other. Mia found a flicker of bravery within her, surfacing through the storm of worry. Together, right? She asked, her voice trembling but hopeful. Always, Sam confirmed. They pushed forward, hearts racing and fears ignited, completely unaware of what would greet them at the end of the tunnel. Would they find an escape, or were they stepping straight into a trap? Mia was about to find out, and the truth would change everything. What awaited them at the final exit? They ran hard, the sound of their footsteps thundering against the concrete. Mia's heart raced. Each pounding beat echoed her doubt and urgency. Desperate to escape the shadows of their pursuers, the tunnel wound ahead, dark and foreboding. Old machinery loomed, creaking with age. Dust hung in the air, making it hard to breathe. Sam led the way, drawing them further into the unknown. Are they behind us? Carter panted, glancing back, his face a mask of fear. Focus on moving, Sam shouted, glancing over his shoulder before pushing on. Stay close. Mia could feel the air grow colder, a reminder of the danger that lurked just a few steps behind them. Every rustle of debris felt like a warning. She forged ahead, holding on to the faint hope that they might find a way out. But what lay beyond the darkness? Executing a quick calculation in her mind, she realized they might have only moments. Sam, do you really think they'll all stop chasing us? I don't know, he admitted, urgency coloring his tone. But we have to keep moving. That exit has to be somewhere ahead. Just like old times, huh? Mia managed a weak smile, trying to lighten the mood. Sam shot her a look, an understanding passing between them. Childhood antics seemed so far away now, but it was those memories that fueled her resolve. Remember how we used to explore the library basement, making up stories about secret passages? Mia breathed, pushing through desperation that he chuckled, his voice a soft whisper against the echoing silence. And how he got caught sneaking extra cookies. It seems like decades ago, she said, the nostalgia momentarily distracting her from their predicament. But it quickly slipped away, replaced by the weight of the present. As they rounded a corner, Sam halted. Listen, he said sharply, raising a hand. Mia strained her ears, and there was a faint sound of footsteps and voices filtering through the tunnel. They were gaining on them. Mia, we need to hide. Sam squeezed her arm, urgency flooding through his eyes. He pointed to a narrow alcove just off the path. Here. They ducked into the shadows, barely breathing, fear crawling up Mia's spine as she pressed against the cold, damp wall. They could hear their pursuers now, their voices harsh and impatient. Split up. She can't be far. A deeper voice commanded, sending shivers through Mia's body. She shuddered at the thought of being separated from Sam and Carter. I can't, Carter whispered, shaking slightly. What if they find us? They won tea. Sam's assurance caught Mia off guard. We'll find a way out. Just trust me. As the footsteps faded, Mia felt a flicker of courage ignite within her. The voices echoed further down the corridor, but the fear of the unknown remained. What's really going on, Sam? She finally asked, her voice low. You said you wanted to help, but are you in danger too? His eyes lost their spark, and for a moment, Mia could see a haunting sadness overshadowing his resolve. There are things I can't explain, but it's not just about you. It's bigger than that, he replied quietly. Bigger than us? Her pulse quickened again, caught between curiosity and dread. Yes. He took a breath, steadying himself. Just I need you to trust that it's all going to make sense soon. We're in this together. How can you be so sure? She pressed, the flicker of her courage flickering low. What if we're never safe? Then we'll find a new path together. His resolve reasserted. Sam's eyes burned like embers, filling Mia with an unexpected sense of stability. And just as Mia nodded, ready to follow whichever path Sam chose, a light flickered farther down the tunnel, and the unmistakable sound of footsteps approached once more. Mia's heart sank. They're coming back. Run, Sam commanded, pulling them back into motion. But Mia felt her legs freeze. They could be hurt, captured, or worse. Wait, she shouted, gripping his arm. What if there's another way? Panic tightened in her chest as they stood on the precipice of choice. Would they brave the threat looming behind them or seek out that unknown light before them? Only seconds, and the lives of 3 young souls hung in the balance. What would they decide? The moment hung, suspended in time. Sam's eyes shifted to the light, then back to Mia, a storm of thoughts playing across his face. We can't stay here. We've got to make a decision now. Carter nodded vigorously, his breath quickening. We can't go back. He looked towards Mia, his gaze pleading. But what if that light leads us into more trouble? Mia felt a rush of determination surge through her. She had spent too long feeling helpless in her life. Now, standing here, it was time to choose a path, not just for herself, but for Sam and Carter too. What if the light is hope? She said, her voice firm. Without waiting for another second, she turned toward the flickering glow and stepped forward, spurred on by a sudden rush of adrenaline. Sam hesitated for just a beat, but then he gripped Carter's arm, urging him along. They sprinted in the direction of the light, fear pushing them even as the unknown beckoned. As they ran, the air gradually lightened, becoming crisp and fresh, a sharp contrast to the suffocating atmosphere of the tunnel. Suddenly, the narrow passage opened into a vast, dimly lit warehouse. Piles of old crates lined the walls, dusty remnants of a forgotten era. A few shafts of vibrant light spilled in through gaps in the ceiling, illuminating patches of the concrete floor. Is this? Sam breathed, surveying the area. This place looks familiar. Mia's heart raced, not just from the run, but from recognition. It's the old factory near the river. We used to sneak in here as kids. Right, but we were just playing then, Carter reminded her, glancing nervously at the shadows. Now we're running for our lives. Mia swallowed hard, the weight of their situation settling back in her chest. We need to find a way out, and fast. She paced through the maze of crates, heart pounding as she searched for an escape. Each whisper of wind echoed like a warning, reminding her of their pursuers. What if they find us here? Carter's voice shook, breaking through her concentration. Sam stepped forward, a fierce light in his eyes. We're not going to let that happen. Let South use this place to our advantage. He began rummaging through the crates, tossing aside forgotten tools and broken items. Mia watched him, pride swelling in her chest. There has to be something useful here, she agreed, digging into the remnants of machinery. They needed a plan, and fast. Time seemed to drag as they worked, their breaths coming out in frantic bursts. Yet, with every moment, anxiety crackled in the air like static electricity. They could be cornered at any moment. Finally, Mia's fingers brushed against something cool and metallic. She pulled it into the light. Look, it was an old flashlight, thick with dust but intact. If there are more shadows around here, we'll need this. Good find, Sam said, taking the flashlight from her hands and clicking it on. A beam of light cut through the dimness, illuminating a larger door at the far end of the warehouse. That might be our way out. But as they moved towards it, the sound of heavy boots echoed behind them, growing louder. Too late. Carter gasped, panic filtering back into his voice. They're here. Mia's stomach dropped. They had to make a quick choice back into the maze of crates, or take a chance on the door ahead. Now, Sam commanded, and Mia felt herself racing forward, pulse pounding as she gripped the handle of the door tightly. Would it be freedom or a trap? Just as she turned it, a shout rang through the warehouse, reverberating with menacing intent. Check there. They've got to be here somewhere. Would they burst through behind them and capture the trio in their rush? Mia hesitated before the door, dread clawing at her. The darkness behind them merged with the uncertainty ahead. What lay beyond that door? Would it bring salvation or more danger? Mia's heart raced, each beat echoing her fear as she turned the handle of the door. With a deep breath, she pushed it open, praying for a way out. The door creaked on rusty hinges, revealing a dimly lit alley that seemed to stretch infinitely. Mia stepped into the cool night air, a sense of freedom washing over her. Behind her, Carter and Sam followed, urgency propelling them forward. The voices of their pursuers echoed through the warehouse, sending chills down her spine. Go, now, Sam urged, leading them out into the narrow alleyway. They tore down the path, adrenaline pumping, the darkness enveloping them like a protective shroud. Each turn felt like racing against time. They couldn't allow those hunting them to close in. Desperate for some semblance of safety, Mia urged them on. Where do we go now? Carter panted, glancing back anxiously. There, Sam pointed to a small, bright cafe across the street, its warm light welcoming yet wary. We can hide there and regroup. Mia nodded, the familiar sight igniting a flicker of hope. They sprinted toward the cafe, quickened steps echoing on the pavement, and slipped inside just as the door swung shut behind them. The hum of chatter and clattering dishes surrounded them, a stark contrast to the chaos they had just escaped. As they slid into a cramped booth towards the back, Mia's heart began to slow, though the tension in her gut remained. Forcing herself to take a deep breath, she surveyed the room. Were they truly safe here? We need to figure out a plan, Mia said, her voice low but steady. What do we do next? I have a contact who can help us, but I can't trust anyone else right now. Sam said, urgency threading his words. We need to lay low until the coast is clear. Mia exchanged glances with Carter, who appeared drained but determined. What do you mean by help? They're a safe house, an old family friend. We can get there and figure out everything together. What if they find us? Carter asked, an edge of fear creeping into his voice. They won T. We just have to be smart about this. Sam replied firmly. As they spoke, a figure walked in that made Mia's heart drop. Nick, the same Nick who had led them through the chaos of the past nights. Now, he stood in the entrance, relief washing over his face as his eyes found theirs. He rushed over, a tight smile breaking through the tension. I found you. We need to move. They're getting closer. Mia's breath hitched. What do you mean? They weren't supposed to find us here. Doesn't team matter? They're relentless. If they got wind of this place, we're not safe. Then let us go, Sam exclaimed, standing up. Lead the way. As they exited the cafe, a sense of determination surged through Mia. They walked quickly but quietly down the street, shadows playing tricks as paranoia crept back in. She held on to hope, but every passerby felt like a potential threat. Finally, they reached a run-down building, the paint peeling and windows cracked. It felt like an old fortress against the world. Nick pushed the door open and motioned for them to enter. Inside was dim, but the air felt charged, a promise of safety yet to come. Stay here while I call for help, Nick said, dialing quickly. Mia turned to Sam, their eyes locking. Can we trust him? She whispered, doubt invading her mind. Yes, Sam insisted. He has been through this before. He understands the stakes. But as Mia looked around, the walls felt heavy with secrets, a tender reminder that safety was ephemeral. Just then, the tension burst, cracks bursting open in their fragile safety. A loud crash came from the other side of the door. Mia's heart dropped. They found us. Quick, through the back, Nick shouted, leading them deeper into the building. With blood pumping in her veins, they scrambled down a dim hallway. Each creak of the floorboards amplified her dread. They burst through a door, tumbling into a dusty room filled with old furniture. Are there any exits? Carter gasped, panic rising. There's a window over here, Sam said, moving to pry it open. They worked together, breathless and desperate, and finally flung the window open, a rush of cold air flooding in. Mia, you go first, Carter urged, shoving her forward. She climbed out, heart pounding, the chill biting her skin. Sam followed, and next was Carter, who finally stepped through last, fear etched on his face. We need to run, go, Sam urged, glancing back toward the building. They sprinted down the alley, moving further into the night. Mia's breath came in ragged gasps, but liberation poured through her. As they rounded the corner, a car screeched to a halt. It's me, Nick shouted, jumping out. Get in. Without hesitation, they piled into the back seat, relief pouring over them. Their trail is hot. We need to pick up the pace, he instructed, starting the engine with urgency. Mia looked at Sam and Carter, adrenaline still surging. Together, they faced the unknown. As the vehicle sped away, a sense of determination settled over her. They weren't just running anymore. They were moving towards something a hope stirred within. The shadows of danger wouldn't hold them back as they drove, night swallowing their fear and blending it into the blur of city lights. In that moment, Mia felt the walls of uncertainty shatter. Whatever comes next, we face it together, she promised, glancing at her friends. They all knew it was true. They were transformed, not just survivors, but fighters with a destiny waiting beyond the darkness. Mia felt a surge of triumph rise within her. This was just the beginning. Now, more than ever, she knew she'd become the unexpected heroine she always dreamed to be. And it was time for the world to change. You need to subscribe to embrace the next chapters of bravery and transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment how you feel about Mia's epic journey so far. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need inspiration in their lives.